John Baptiste Roland, lead level art. Oh, this game was amazing. I like a good time story.
Your review, though.
My impromptu review last. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. I had. Oh, this game with this. What did IMDb? Look before I get to my review. What did other places review it as? Eight out of 10
Don't trust
by,
video game
on
journalists.
IGN. Huh?
They lie. Gaming journalists lie, though.
True. Alright, so it got 8 out of 10 out of IGN, 80%, 86% from Metacritic, 72% from PC Gamer. What? I want to know a bad critic. Because look, I think this game is actually fantastic. I would rate. I want to give it a 9 out of 10. I would give it an 8.5 though. Combat is amazing. The level designs are amazing. The puzzles are frustratingly amazing. The story had really good twists, like twists on twists. I think what keeps it what keeps it from being what?
Are you letting that 72 influence your judgment?
No. I'm upset that they gave it a 72. I don't agree with
I
them
think
being
it's a 72.
You think it's a 72? Well, you're wrong.
I didn't say.
You're just wrong.
I didn't say I thought that. I'm saying what made them think that.
Oh, I don't know. I do want to look at a bad review, I guess. So that's kind of what I'm trying to look up. Because sometimes
I was lost all game because I can't get good at Metroidvanias. PC Gamer 2024.
Oh, because it's a Metroidvania? That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he said, but that's just me making fun of it.
Ooh. Okay, so here's a 60 by Inverse. In its combat and tricky platforming sections, The Lost Crown is mostly a blast. The problem is that it's surrounded by dull exploration, frequently underwhelming bosses, and enough small frustrations to keep it from greatness. I'm baffled at how little it dives into its unique frozen time premise, because the moments where it does are the best parts of the game. The Lost Crown's high points are enough to recommend it to anyone looking for a good action platformer. But if you want a game that scratches the itch for satisfying exploration, you may walk away disappointed. I guess that's a somewhat fair criticism. I wouldn't give it a 60 for that. I would probably give it like a 70 from his viewpoint. But let's see. Someone gave it a 4. Wasn't the game I expected to play. Compared to other Prince of Persia, played it for a while. 4. I didn't like the graphics, but overall mechanics looks okay. Does this game deserve a chance? I don't know. Why? That's not a review. That's just like, do I like it? Dalgak. Changing my review to 1. I got bug locked because the door won't open anymore after a crash. The game is rich, diverse, and really innovative on some mechanics. The gameplay is really smooth and nice. I'm not giving 10 because I think it would benefit some quality of life improvement like a mini-map in order to navigate without opening the map every 10 seconds to know where I'm going. I did do that, but that's also Metroidvania, so I don't... That's a personal gripe, not an overall gripe. Don't ever hesitate to play it if you have the chance. Okay, he gave it a 1 because apparently it had a bug glitch.
That's a horrible reason. I can understand if riddled with bugs, but a single bug, nah.
I mean, I hit a couple of bugs, but nothing game breaking. There's a difference between like a bug and something that like ruins your game. Like if for some reason you lose your save state because of that, then I think that's enough to drop a score. But just because, like, did he just turn? Maybe he could have just turned it off, turned it back on again. You know. Let's see, LJP83. I'm giving this a 6 because it has really good production values and mechanics, but I personally hated it and will never play a game in this genre again, so I can't rate it any higher. The exploration was amazingly tedious and frustrating, and so were the boss fights. Making progress was a chore. The whole game feels like a job. It's very rarely just fun. It's maybe something I would enjoy on my couch on a different platform, but I don't want tedious, annoying gameplay on my handheld. And then he'll play Final Fantasy 15 or 16. He'll play one of those, or Xenoblade Chronicles. Oh, that's why I don't play those games. Those are super tedious.
So basically, I was right, just the wrong review.
I mean, it's a Metroidvania. Like, Metroidvanias are somewhat tedious.
Yeah, but I'll never play something in the genre again. I'm gonna get the game bad score just because I don't like the genre. I probably should have been playing this in the first place.
Yeah.
I wouldn't review a game just because I don't like the genre. That's stupid.
Well, I think to be a good reviewer, you have to be able to separate what you like in a game and what the game actually is good at, right? And people don't know how to separate those two aspects. So
you're saying you should be a reviewer?
I mean, look, we live in an age now where I can't declare myself a reviewer. Other people have to be like, hey, that guy's reviews, that's a good reviewer. Let's listen to that reviewer guy now. Like, there are so many people reviewing games. I can't declare myself an official reviewer unless other people think my reviews are good. Though, whatever helps me make money, I guess.
You should just apply for a company and you just review games.
That would be cool. Sarah, hey, that guy's review. That guy's a good reviewer. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you. Look, I got one person giving me good reviews. Now I just need like 10 to 20,000 more. So Sarah, you're the start. Here's a review by Spaghetti Ball. Give it a 0. You ready for this? Why are people pretending this game is good? Some of the worst level design, puzzle design, and boss design I've ever seen, mixed in with clunky, unresponsible controls. Even Indivisible is better than this. I've never played Indivisible, so I don't know. Someone gave it a 2, but it's in Russian.
Well, I have a friend that reads German, so if you ever anything German translated, we got you covered.
Oh, that's cool. I guess I'll look into that. Here's one that's by Ondick. First half is awesome, but then it turns into a platforming nightmare. Every turn, every path, just long and frustrating platforming section. I think that's a personal gripe. Depending on the Metroidvania, there's Metroidvanias I think are kind of have two subclasses. You have one that's exploration, and then one that's platforming. And there's kind of it's dependent on the style or the subclass that you go to. Like Castlevania, is, I guess, a style of Metroidvania, but that would focus more on exploration than platforming, even though it has platforming. Hollow Knight would be more of the platforming part. So they want it to be technical and difficult. So, all right, here's a 4 by TX the Mighty. I played every single Prince of Persia game. This is by far and easily the absolute worst. I never had any difficulty issues in any of the other games. This one is nightmare fuel. Not to mention, the difficulty is exacerbated by bugs. There's a mid-air dash that can be used to recover from hits, except I spent over an hour trying to complete this challenge in the training only to find the move was bugged. The combat is needlessly difficult and focuses on sequences of 1-2 hit dodge, 1-2 hit dodge. There are cool acrobatic maneuvers and combos you can do. Truly some fun stuff. The problem, they can only be performed on the absolutely weakest enemies that can be juggled. Enemies that you don't need to use these flash moves on. It's, well, look, you can hit weak enemies up into the air to extend combos. It makes sense that a stronger enemy you can't because they're heavy. So I was like, then not only that, you have to play the game around that. You have to change your strategy. He just wants to button mash.
Bosses you can juggle though.
There were some bosses
you can juggle though.
Yeah. Menelaus, I could juggle him for a bit, and then he did the key blast wave and pushed me away. Anyway, enemies that you don't need to use these flashy moves on. In addition to the majority of enemies being immune to being launched, there are also unstunnable enemies, and many enemies that are both immune to being launched and unstunnable. Basically, there's a point with the enemies where, like in Kingdom Hearts, like imagine Sephiroth, if you were able to stagger him the entire fight, it would be a very annoying fight. So what they do is so that you don't stagger an enemy over and over and over again, they'll give them recovery frames or a reset, I guess, so that they can get away and so that it resets the battle. Every enemy in this game has it, but the thing is that you kind of have to learn to predict when that's going to happen, and then you can extend combos that way. This guy I'm going to button mash, and that's what's going to happen. Once again, rather than incentivize you, they necessitate the boring Souls-like 1-2 hit dodge repeat. They don't necessitate that. He just doesn't know how to play the game. I used to feel so stylish and badass when I played this game. I was just reading that for context, by the way. I don't anymore. Every single fight is a struggle. Traps are okay. If you even touch a trap in sequence, you are teleported to the beginning of that particular sequence with some health shaved off. However, there are too many gotcha moments. It's Celeste. Like, it's a platforming moment. There are times when you complete a particularly hard sequence and feel triumphant, only for a chest to be a mimic that starts attacking you. I do hate the mimics, but I hate them in a good way. Yeah, the mimics were really annoying.
And Metroidvanias.
Yeah. Easy, right? Nope, this move is 50-50. The mimic either launches you horizontally across the room, requiring you to jump, or the mimic launches projectiles vertically into the air, hitting you if you jump. I completed 40% of this game before I gave up in utter disgust. I guess every beloved franchise eventually turns to crap. I recommend this game only if you're an utter masochist who beats most games on the highest difficulty and can input 11 different button combinations in under a second, and have incredible eyes that can track the tiniest of movements and react instantly. Oh, and the story is really disappointing though. I don't expect many people to care due to the type of the game this is. Oh.
Read what Sarah said.
You're welcome. That sounds like you? What, that sounds like me? Or... Oh, man. There were a lot of parts that I was frustrated with, I guess. But I had fun. I liked the difficulty. Even the fight, the Menelaus fight, what you guys were there for, where it was a bullet hell. I was like, yeah. You play on the hardest
First
levels.
First off, this is not a Souls game. Second of all, I enjoy Souls games, so it's hating.
I really look if Souls games weren't as long as they were, or as in depth as they were, I would probably play them more. But again, I just feel like I just personally feel my time is. I just don't have the time to invest in it like I want to. So also,
You know what I have to say to that? You know what I have to say to that?
what do you have to say to that? I guess I deserve that. All right, I'm gonna read one more bad review, and then I'm going to give my own impromptu review. Okay. This is by Igloo Man. I really wanted to give this game a fair shake, as the GameCube era Prince of Persia games are some of my favorites, but the demo did not impress me in the slightest. I was hopeful when learning that the same team that worked on the recent Rayman games worked on Lost Crown, and while I can appreciate the return to 2D platforming, there are vastly better Metroidvanias that you could be playing, and a good chunk of them decades older than Lost Crown. Combat was monotonous, and that's not something that should have been in a Metroidvania. While stylized, the graphics didn't wow me. Ubisoft had a good idea here, but it needed more time in the oven to properly deliver on its ideas. If you have to play the game, wait for a heavy discount, or for it to appear on a subscription service like PS Plus.
The graphics are not that good because it's already on the Switch.
I got it on Switch. I mean, I think this game would look beautiful on PlayStation. Oh.
But why don't you go find out?
Buy
it right now.
I'm not gonna get it on PlayStation. I have to spend money to buy 1,000 Year Door, and two, I spent like $30 buying some Magic cards. This isn't good.
Magic cards.
It's not good. I'm going down the rabbit hole. Yeah. So they raised the price on PS Plus. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I'm probably not getting PS Plus.
He said PlayStation Plus Essential.
Yeah.
That's what the E is.
Gotcha. Well, that's a shame. Anywho, I need to give my impromptu review. This game, I thought it was
0
great.
out of 10.
Zero out of 10. Too much water. No, I think so from what the critics are saying, I can see some of the issues, but I don't think that I just think that they hit the game in the wrong way. Again, there are two types of Metroidvanias. You have the exploration style, and then you have the platforming combat style. This was more on the combat platforming style. It was meant to be challenging. It was meant to be difficult. It was meant to be hard. So I can see that that the difficulty of it might throw people off. And I guess, well, here's the thing. They actually, when you start the game, they have different difficulty levels. And you can actually play on easier difficulties. So that's another thing. I've just played on normal. But they have a speedrun mode and like an extra difficulty hard mode. So, anyway, I think the music is mostly fantastic. When it builds up well. When it doesn't well. Arclight, no. Arclight. Let me finish my review first. You gotta make me play Elden Ring. Look, I will make Elden Ring after 1,000 Year Door. I'm pretty determined to beat that. Anyway. So what's gonna happen?
You know what I have to say to that?
Huh?
Here's what I have to say to that.
Oh my. Maybe I could do let me finish my review first. Okay, so the difficulty is something. The music is fantastic. I think there were a couple areas where I wasn't down for it, but it was background music. I didn't have to be down for it. Like even now, the credits music, I'm loving it. It's just very intense. The cutscenes, I love the cinematics. It's definitely on the Switch though. Some of them I felt like they could have been on the GameCube. Honestly, they weren't pretty. I wish it could have been on. I wish I probably could have played on PS5. But the colors, the fights, they were very dynamic. They were very cinematic, very explosive. It was just epic. Um, the battles were fun. The bosses were fun. They were fun because they were hard and they were difficult. And you had to figure out the timings and you had to figure out the game plans to try to beat them. Which again, I like that kind of analysis to trying to beat a boss. It's fun for me. That's why I like Smash Bros so much. What else? I do think the story was kind of hit or miss. The twists were amazing, but the the main character's arc was kind of randomly, like he started off being like he's trying to save the day, but then he's trying to save Varum, but there's no reason for him to want to save Varum. And so he becomes this super high moral character for no reason except that he's a good guy trying to save people and save the world. Um, Also, the fact that there was nothing with the queen at the end, um, that they just kind of left her to just like there was no satisfying conclusion there when she was the one that caused everything. That's just why I was hoping for a secret cutscene at the end because I was like, "Come on, please," but no. So the story actually kind of drops it a bit. Um, the combat is fluid. I think the combat for me was the best part. Um, I know people were like hit dodge, but you don't have to do it. You can expend combos. You can. There's a little bit of variety. And also it's also a Metroidvania. It's not. There is a little bit of a limit to how in depth they can make it. Um, I think the biggest issue isn't necessarily. I wish there were more waypoints back and forth between other areas. They had those whack trees, and they had a lot of them, but they didn't let you fast travel through them. And while the platforming is pretty fun, I think having to platform through the same areas in the same way over and over was a little tiring. So I think that was probably a gripe with the level design more. It was more just it was difficult to get around because of how much they prioritize platforming. What else? I I wish there could have been a couple more characters or that I cared about the characters more. Like you have your friend group and when you kill some of them, but like when they die, I don't feel anything when they die because you don't interact with them well enough. So you just are supposed to assume that they're your friends because they're your friends. So that's a gripe in the story, but it's not bad. Um, but yeah, other than that, I think most of the conclusions, most of the stuff paid off well. Most of it was fun. Like 90% of it was fun. Um, I think it was just the story was the only thing that kind of put it down a little bit for me. And the graphics, if having stories and graphics are a little hand in hand, but the graphics aren't the biggest thing, so it only knocks it down.
Whoa.
So that drops it down to an 8.5. I'm in an 8.5. I want it to be a 9, even a 9.5, but just small minor gripes between with everything just prevent it from being a 9 or a 10. So there you go. Prince of Persia impromptu
Whoa,
review.
whoa. You can't criticize the graphics of a Switch game. What is wrong with you?
I know, right? I actually feel like I feel somewhat like a hypocrite saying that though. But there were
'Cause it looks
actually,
better than most Switch games.
it tries to be. There were some moments, like especially in the Varum fight, where they couldn't even animate his mouth correctly because it was so off. The graphics were so off. So it was just a hair. It was a hair too much. Um, they
But for
they they
Switch
try to be
games with
too realistic.
graphics, I promise you.
I got
Say
hit
it.
with the uncanny valley. What can I say?
You got hit with the what?
The uncanny valley. Have you heard of what the uncanny valley is?
Nope.
Ah, so the uncanny valley. There's a probably send a graph of it to you. So essentially, the more unrealistic, or let me do it on this side. The more unrealistic something is, what'll happen is that we'll be like, oh, that's so far removed from us, we think that it's okay. But the more realistic something becomes, there is actually a decline to where it makes us feel more and more uneasy. Because it almost feels, because we can tell that it's off, but it's not. And it's trying to be real, but we know it's not. That's the uncanny valley. Basically, the closer we get to trying to make something real, the weirder it feels for us. And then it bumps back up at the end because then it hits pretty much reality. So the uncanny valley is like down here in this little dip of where it looks weird because it's not reality and we know it's not reality. So that's why AI robots to a lot of people people get creeped out by them because they're not human and they don't interact like humans do and they don't express themselves like humans do because they're not human. So it gives a lot of people a lot of unease because they just look weird. Sarah, it's not reality? No, it's not. It's not. That's why every AI robot must become an anime waifu or husbando. Sorry, there's a YouTube, there's a Twitch channel, a YouTube channel. Have you ever heard of Vidal and Nero? Vidal makes an AI, I guess, VTuber model, and tries to program her to, I guess, to keep being more and more, not lifelike, but I guess responsive and more entertaining over time. So
AI will get there, sadly. I, AI, I don't know how to feel about it. Because it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, you know?
I think that's kind of the same place I'm at with it too. It could either be it does a lot of good because you can do a like the amount of number crunching you can do with an AI is insane compared to what we've been able to do before. But at the same time, it's hitting on that edge of sentience that we don't really like. And it also gives, I guess, these big powerhouse companies and governments this level of in-depth intelligence because of this data crunching that we don't like. So it's basically going to And it's basically turning into Cyberpunk 2044. So, uh, it'll be like computers. There'll be a lot of good that'll come from it, but there'll also be a lot of bad that'll come from it. And we'll just live out our days and hope it doesn't get worse. That's all. Beep, 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 beep. Well, I think I might go ahead and
Time to start Elden Ring. Haha.
No, not now. I think I'm gonna end stream. I probably have to. I have to upload a bunch of the streams that I've done in the past couple weeks. So I gotta work on that. Unfortunately, but it'll be fun. Cause I have to sit through. I have to quickly go through hours of footage to try to save good clips. It's a fun time. It's part of the reason why I burned out on Twitch. Finding clips actually takes a lot of time. Just so you know. Anyway, anywho, let me turn on the pretty music. I think now is a good time. Well, I don't know. Is there? We can quick scroll. Let's see if there's something special at the end of this real quick. We've been letting it roll past for, I don't know, like a half hour. I want to play Prince of Persia Sands of Time now, actually. I heard they're making...
Have you actually played that?
I've actually never played it.
It's way different.
I'm sure it is.
The others are not Metroidvanias. That was something they did with Lost Crown for whatever reason.
What style of game are they then?
Like kind of like a regular platformer, sorta.
Like Assassin's Creed or something?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Can I play a game like that? I don't know. If it has that type of movement, I should be fine. Just waiting for this to scroll.
This is why most games give you the ability to skip, not most, but a lot of games give you the ability to skip credits.
Yeah. No, this one allows me to speed it up. Or slow it down. Oh, I guess I can skip. Oh, what's this?
Hey, Sargon.
Don't worry. I'll take good care of Varum.
There's a boss rush mode.